Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, goldfish and potted plants. We're here to discuss some music, and in this case, my case, violin playing, etc. And the question today is regarding amateurs versus professionals, and is it too late to start a musical instrument, what age, etc. Most professionals start playing their instruments at a very young age, 4, 5, or 6, sometimes 3 years old, and they play for many hours a day. Sometimes, of course, and many times their childhood is destroyed. Many times they'll quit later and come back to it later. And my general feeling is yes, it's never too late to study a language or study playing an instrument, a musical instrument. And music is like a language. If you want to play by ear just for fun, or if you want to learn the language of music to understand whole notes and half notes and how to read the music, that's fine also. It certainly is a good way to spend some time and to distract yourself from maybe unpleasant things in this world. So to study a musical instrument is a nice thing, unless you're the roommate or the husband or wife or someone who has to listen to you, because you have to understand when you first begin, you're going to sound like this. Maybe because the bow's sliding around and there's certain things, if you don't do it correctly, if you play sloppy some way like this, your roommate may want to kill you, and it may be unpleasant for your husband or your wife or whoever living, your cat or your dog, something living nearby. You might, start to get sick or something. But anyway, the idea is how much do you want to practice, and how much are you willing to risk alienating the entire neighborhood, etc. People want to hear you play. But anyway, but you never know. It may change your life. You may meet somebody, it might be the teacher, or a fellow musical traveler who wants to study music also, and you'll find people you'll be meeting who love music. They're not necessarily playing because they want to be in Carnegie Hall or become rich and famous, but they just love music. And personally, I qualify most of the time as a professional violinist, but I like playing music with amateurs because they love music and they work hard to create what they can create, what sound, what technique. And sometimes playing music with amateurs is a lot of fun because it means so much to them. And I find even a lot of professional musicians are bored by music, and if they're not paid, they will not open up their case and they won't play their music. When they go home, they don't play music. On the weekends, they don't play music unless they're paid money. I was in that state of mind at one point when I was a freelance professional musician playing Broadway shows and recording sessions. I never played music for the pleasure of it, for the fun of it. That was many years ago. So I can say that if you want to study music, it would be a very nice thing to do, and it may change your life. You'll meet a lot of new people. You'll accomplish something. You will suddenly find yourself learning something new. When you're a young student, you're learning many things. But when you get older, you don't see progress in your life, so to speak. You don't see something that you just learned recently, something you couldn't do some years ago. And suddenly, you're actually playing some piano, or some violin, or guitar, or saxophone, or cello, or viola, or something. And that's a great thing to be telling your friends, oh yes, I'm working on the viola now. Well, can I hear you play? Well, not yet. Hopefully you won't be playing too soon, but after you play a little bit, learn a couple of tunes, maybe get a teacher if you're lucky enough. Sometimes teachers are expensive, but it's very nice to be able to share what you're learning, ask some advice, and eventually to play with other humans and music together. It's a fantastic experience. So just like learning a language, it's not easy when you're older, I think. But I think it may be a myth. Maybe if you work hard, I think you're more intelligent. You know what an ugly sound is. You know what kind of music you want to play. So you'll practice a little more intelligently. You may get more results for less energy than if you're a little kid just flopping around. And there are certain fundamentals. And I think sometimes musicians make it seem like, or we think that musicians are so special. They're doing this magical thing, playing great music. But actually, it's very scientific. In fact, if you just realize the physics of it, you have a vibration of a string, certain length. When you shorten the length of the string, you change the pitch of, in a sense, like this big rubber band. If you stretch the rubber band to different points, and you pluck it, it'll make a different tone. So when you put your finger down here, you shorten the string from this point to the bridge. When you put your finger here, you shorten the string to this length from where the stop is. The stop is where you depress the finger down, let's say in this case, on a note. So if you put it here and go up, it goes up higher. The pitch goes higher. So, what note's out of tune? So you think, do I have the ear? Can I train my ear to be an amateur musician? Well, if you know that this note was out of tune, this note should be. I made it here. I made the string shorter, and I played what we know as an F sharp. Now, if you hear this, then you know. Now, I'm just making the string vibrate by this bow. Now, if it was crooked this way, it's going to. No, so there's a result. If you practice with the bow crooked, you know it's not going to improve. But if someone tells you straighten your bow, bring it, then you'll get some results. Now, as a little kid, kids are flopping around sometimes with a very short attention span. They may not be able to do that. But as an adult, you'll be able to use an intelligent way of practicing, and you might actually coordinate your ability to play as an amateur faster than you realize. But at a certain point, if you find people are avoiding you, including your roommates and loved ones, and they're just saying, like, can you find somewhere else to practice, dear? After a while, you might realize maybe you may not be cut out for that particular instrument. And maybe you'll find something else you'd like to play. And if you have a great quest to study music and to play music, then that's a great thing. That's a wonderful thing, and you should find a way to express yourself musically. Perhaps even your own voice. The oldest of all musical instruments is the human voice. And if you want to start singing a little bit, I think that might be a great thing also. So try to find the instrument which you can express yourself with, and I think you might enjoy that. So I have great respect for amateur musicians. And there's also an amateur music society in every city in this country. There are people listed who like to play music together, and then they grade themselves if they're an A player or a B player or a C player, so you know what kind of music to prepare if you call them up to see what they want to play. But amateur music is a wonderful thing. Some countries have chamber orchestras or community orchestras. I know in Japan they have lots of community orchestras, and people play and work very hard. And there are some communities which have their community orchestra or two or three, and it's a great experience to go once a week and play some great music, you know. There are some here in New York City. There's some orchestras here that are very nice. I was a member of a few of those community orchestras when I wanted to play a little more. I joined them, and it really was wonderful. And I really, really enjoyed community orchestras and amateur musicians. So I have a great respect for people that really enjoy playing music, no matter what proficiency level they're at. Even professionals, some actually enjoy music, believe it. So I wish you all the best in your endeavors. Practice hard, practice well, and reach out to each other and play music. Spread the beautiful language of music. Thanks, everybody. I wish you the best. Come tune in again sometime if you want to hear something. Hopefully interesting. So during the break, when I said goodbye to the last episode, I was just about to leave the set, our nice set here at the rehearsal studio, ERES rehearsal studio on 72nd Street and Broadway in New York City. I looked in the mirror and I realized I'm really having a bad hair day, so sorry folks about that, but that's the way it goes. But more importantly, I forgot to say that the real big difference between a musician that is an amateur and one that is a professional is that, guess what? The professionals get paid. So if you're paying someone to play for your party or your wedding or your whatever it is, or in your orchestra, and you pay them, they're becoming professional musicians. So if you take a very good fledgling amateur, they're really playing nicely and they play for some performance, some occasion perhaps at your house or somewhere you need to hire them, they're becoming professional. And you can tell them, now you're officially professional because we paid you for this particular performance, and thank you very much. Anyway, have a nice day. All the best.